Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. And by everybody, it looks like we got Russell and Kenny. Thanks for stopping by, Kenny. Let's just wait a moment here. With the dark and gloomy and cold day. Yeah, I know. It really is just like kind of miserable. I mean, I'm not going to do much else today besides watch movies and talk about movies. Who am I kidding? I went over to my daughter's place yesterday to help with the grandkids. That's where my wife is on Monday, so it's nice and quiet here. But yeah, we just I mean, they actually did get to go to the farmers market down on near South Street for a little bit in between rain, but we mostly just hung out. Yeah, but I appreciate you stopping by, Russell. And yeah, hit the like button as always. Anyway, the funny thing is, after doing a bunch of Jet Li movies, working through the Shaw Scope volumes, doing some Chang Che directed films, some Jet Li films, a couple Tony Jaa movies, and then all the Bruce Lee films and the ranking, I realized I really haven't done hardly any Jackie Chan movies except a few of the early ones that he's appeared in, before he really became well known. So and yesterday morning, I just got up. I was downstairs. I didn't feel like moving. So I turned on Tubi, and there was Drunken Master, and I'm a huge fan of the second one, and I vaguely remembered Drunken Master. So I watched it, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna review Drunken Master for Martial Arts Monday. One thing led to another. I spent most of the day at my daughter's place. So I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get this video out in time. So then I was like, I'll just go live and do like a live review. And then right after that, Kenny sent me a message about Jackie Chan's birthday. I was like, how about that? I had no idea. I didn't know. But yeah, 71, pretty amazing. So for the first part, I'm just going to go through like his filmography a little bit and talk about some of the films on there and my recollections of seeing them and the circumstances of seeing them. Because I mean, when he was hitting his stride here, he was well known, of course, in Hong Kong and other parts of the world before. But when he was hitting his stride here in like the late 90s, and all those popular ones were coming out on VHS and eventually DVD. I mean, me and the kids, and we were gobbling that stuff up. Prior to that, I knew who he was, and we're going to talk about the movies that the little glimpses that we got of him here in the United States before that. But I was just so eager to consume his films even before I really had a chance to. We were pretty limited in the early days. Jet Li's awesome. Yeah, I mean, some of my Jet Li reviews have done great. Like I was telling Kenny, they got Fearless on Hamilton Books for $1.95. I mean, it's a DVD, but still, that's a great one. And I reviewed Fist of Legend. I watched that with my son. We loved that one. And I guess we're going to get to it. I don't remember the name of it, but I remember seeing my wife and I went to see a bunch of Jet Li movies. The only Lethal Weapon movie she's ever seen is Lethal Weapon 4 because Jet Li was in it. But eventually when he was in a movie with Jackie, I can't remember the title of it. It was like automatic. We were going to go to the theater to see that. And then that one turned out to be set in modern times with like a fantasy element. I thought the whole thing was going to be set in olden times. It wasn't quite as good as I thought it could have been, considering you had those two stars together. But we're going to get to that because I can't even remember the title of it right off the top of my head. But that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to get sort of back in touch with some of these Jackie Chan movies. I've been looking forward to getting to some of them and rewatching them anyway. And we got Hobbs. Greetings and happy birthday, my friend. Yes, to be clear, it's Jackie Chan's birthday. It's not my birthday. My birthday's in December. And I'm not as old as Jackie Chan, but considering how sore I am from the gym this morning, I'm pretty sure he could kick my ass. And the film that I'm going to review today, it's going to be just a brief overview. The Drunken Master, boy, my gosh, he was in shape in those days. Goodness, we take it for granted, but my goodness. Forbidden Kingdom, that's it, Kenny. Yeah, it was okay. It was okay. I just kind of looking through his IMDb. We're going to get to one, I believe, big budget one with a major co-star that just completely I completely missed. I had no idea that this film existed. I thought it was like I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So yeah, I haven't really kept up with all his films in recent years. But let's start at the beginning. I think he was born in 1954. He apparently made some films when he was a child. Big and Little Wong Tin Bar. Okay, I don't know. But it gets it, and what they don't have here is the Sand Pebbles. Now I've heard that he's in it, 1966 with Steve McQueen. I've heard that he's in it. I've heard that he's an extra. He may have just been on the set and he's not in it. But Yu Woon Ping was an extra in that, and that's where he got the idea to use wires. When he saw somebody get pulled backwards from a gunshot with a wire, he later would apply that to martial arts films when he was a fight choreographer and director. So that's pretty interesting. So, and then we'll get to like 1972. He was in a movie called Fist of Fury. I'm pretty sure that's the Fist of Fury, not one of the sequels. Yep. So he's in there somewhere as a student. I don't ever recall catching him in the background, but we're going to get to another Bruce Lee movie in a second here. Well, I'll just tell you now. Enter the Dragon. You can see him during the scene when the bunch of thugs are assaulting his sister in the flashback scene. And I did see that on the big screen where it was a little easier to point him out, but you have to look quick. He's not on the screen for very long. So then you've got so a lot of uncredited roles: Lady Kung Fu, Bloodfingers, The Black Tavern, Ambush, Too Scared to Die. He actually has credited there. I guess it's a Bruceploitation film, Bruce Lee and I. He's uncredited in that. Chinese Hercules, he's uncredited. I think that has Bolo Young. Then 1973, Snake Fist Fighter. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's not the big one. Okay. Yeah, he's credited in that. Attack of the Kung Fu Girls. He plays Japanese extra. Okay. Fury of the Black Belt. Okay, I'm pretty sure I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that. I don't have it here with me, but I'm pretty sure I reviewed that on the channel. He basically plays a thug, and he's a real bastard too. He like beats up this woman, and then the hero comes and rescues her. But he's not even related to the other thugs in the movie. It's almost like just a weird side scene. But that's an atypical role for him. And then you had Enter the Dragon, 1973. He's still being uncredited. Superman Against the Orient, Village of Tigers. He's uncredited roles. Then we get to, what do we got? The New Fist of Fury, 1976. So they're already posted, Bruce Lee, after Bruce Lee has passed away, they're already taking some of the titles and, having people like Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung star in them. Enter the Fat Dragon for Sammo Hung, New Fist of Fury for Jackie Chan. I don't believe I've watched this one yet. Then the next year he was in Hand of Death. Now this is an interesting one. This is directed by John Woo and also starring Sammo Hung. And Jackie plays a blacksmith in this who's kind of like the master character. And I have reviewed this on the channel. When our wayward hero is out, he gets his ass kicked and then he's wandering around. Usually they find an old master. This time he finds Jackie, who's a blacksmith, and him and Jackie train together and then team up to take on the bad guys. Pretty good one if I remember. And then Killer Meteors, Shaolin Wooden Men, which I'm about 3/4 of the way through on Tubi right now. I haven't finished it, but he plays a character called Little Mute. He doesn't talk in the movie. And he has to go through this rigorous training session where he runs a gauntlet of wooden warriors, basically, who are being manipulated with chains. And it's quite obvious there are people in there. But anyway, and it's pretty good so far. To Kill with Intrigue. Now, yeah, and then 1978, everything changes. He's in Snake in the Eagle's Shadow. This is his big, huge hit in 1978, Snake in the Eagle's Shadow. I think I used to have 2 VHS, like double VHS tapes of Jackie Chan back in the day. And why we got rid of those, I don't know. I can kill myself, really. I think one of them was also Fearless Hyena and maybe Fearless Hyena 2. And then the other one may have been Drunken Master, which I'm going to get to in a little bit. But yeah, Snake in the Eagle's Shadow was huge. And it also established, of course, I don't have his name on the tip of my tongue now, but Yu Winping's dad plays the white-haired old master with the hat, kind of sloppy. He would pass away, within 10 years after that. He was playing an old master. He was old. He was mid 60s, I think. So he wasn't like a young guy made up. But that established that sort of archetype. And then the same type of character would be in Drunken Master, a drunken variety of that sort of master. And then some other ones like Magnificent Bodyguards, Half a Loaf of Kung Fu. These all came out in 78. So he was making a lot of movies. And then Drunken Master comes out in 78. Why don't I just stop and review Drunken Master now rather than go back? Anyway, yeah, this was a lot of fun. They basically, but it's not as good as Drunken Master 2, which came out, I believe, in the early 90s. But that was a big budget spectacle. This is more of one of those smaller films. I think they may have filmed it in Macau. Sometimes they film these in South Korea. There is a South Korean, well, he was born in Japan, but he was a South Korean martial artist who is his foil in this. And also, I believe, in Snake and the Eagle's Shadow. And in one of the films, he knocked Jackie's tooth out with a kick. And in the other film, he damaged his eye with a kick. He was known as the god of kicks or something like that. He was known for his mighty kicks. So, right from the beginning, he was picking up injuries. And apparently after he damaged Jackie's eye, they were like, all right, we got to reshoot that scene. He's like, I'm not kicking him in the head anymore. He was very funny about that after he hurt Jackie. But yeah, really good villains. Drunken Master, it's just a lot of fun. You have this guy. He's like a ne'er-do-well guy. He irritates the heck out of his father. His aunt and his cousin come to town, and he doesn't know that, so he kind of hits on her, and then the aunt kind of beats him up. And then he gets into some trouble with his dad. He starts up with a rival gang, and his dad sends him to train with this Drunken Master type guy. And the training sequences are grueling, hanging upside down, doing inverted sit-ups. He's got little cups of water. He's got to go down, get the water, put it in the big pot. And when he does that, then the guy gives him these little tiny teacups. It's absolutely brutal. And he is ripped. I mean, you can see like every little tiny muscle in his body when he's doing this. But eventually he can't take it anymore. He tricks the old master, dunks him in one of the big jars of water, runs away, but little does he know he kind of hangs out in the hideout of a notorious sort of assassin that we had met early in the beginning of the film, who's kind of like similar to Lee Van Cleef's character in For the Good and the Bad and the Ugly. I mean, he's just an assassin for hire. So they get into a dust up, and Jackie's drying out his wet clothes, so he's in his underwear. So he gets his ass kicked, and then he has to run away. And for a film that is very, very goofy and silly, this part of the film is actually really sad because he's got nothing. Got kicked out of his home, ran away from his master. He doesn't even have the shirt on his back. He's wearing a pair of wet underwear. So then he has to crawl back to the master, kind of apologize and begin this rigorous training again. And the master pulls out his manual of I think it's 8 different drunken styles. And it's very entertaining. There's like a drunken flute, a drunken one-legged person, and then there's like a feminine drunken style. So you have Jackie making all these like feminine noises and acting very feminine. It's pretty funny, very broadly played. They say like shit and piss in this movie more than any other movie, I think. Hey, Nanette. And hi, Jamie. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. Just talking about Jackie Chan's career. Since my friend Kenny told me today was his birthday, and I had a review of this movie that I'm talking about, Drunken Master, in the works anyway. So I just thought I'd do the whole thing live. Oh, let me switch over. There we go. So what do you think happens? He learns all these different drunken styles, and he sort of also has some friends in the restaurant business. And a lot of these films in that 4 or 5 year period have so many of the same guys, like a heavy set guy for comic relief. I don't know his name, and eventually he proves himself and has a final confrontation with the evil villain. And he's using all his different drunken styles, and it's very entertaining. And then, of course, as is usually the case in these movies, there's one final blow, and then the movie just ends. It's just like boom, done. So in Drunken Master 2, they would reuse the music. His name, Wong Fei Hung, would be the same. He would have, there would be different actors cast as his parents, T. Lung and Angela. No, oh man, I can't believe I can't remember her name. Anyway, and that was a very big budget film, but that would come in the 90s. We'll get to that in a moment. But anyway, Drunken Master on Tubi, it's a lot of fun. And it looks great too. Like when it started out, I saw a little graininess. And then about 20 minutes later, I thought about it and I realized that it was gone, and it looked really nice. And I think I think Tubi got the remastered copy. It's so clear that when they zoom in on the master, he's got like a red nose because he's supposed to be drunk. You can actually see like the individual spots of makeup. So they zoomed in a little too much on that. But and the master, it's interesting because usually the masters are like invincible. But if this guy doesn't have a drink with him, he starts getting the shakes and he's not effective. So it's rare to see one of the old masters have a weakness. But they do a little fighting with the actual jug, but not as much as they would in other films, like in Drunken Master 2. That's always entertaining. Just dropping the jug, catching it, hitting somebody, catching it again, drinking while he's fighting. Just because having like rubbery legs. Very entertaining stuff. So that's my review of Drunken Master. Just a fun, goofy, early Jackie Chan vehicle. The version on Tubi is very good, and it is dubbed too. So, and the voice work is good. The guy almost sounds like Jackie Chan's character would sound. By the way, Jackie Chan's character in the movie is named Freddy, which I thought was kind of funny. All right, then you got Spiritual Kung Fu, Bruce and Shaolin Kung Fu 2. I don't know. Sometimes these movies have different names. They're sequels to other movies, sometimes in name only. Horrific. Jason's here. Horrific Nightmares. Yeah. The master is always Pai Mei. Pai Mei's the best master. I love Gordon Liu, but I think it's in the back of people's minds. I think they conflate some of Gordon Liu's roles with the old Yu Wenping's father a little bit because they're kind of similar. But yeah, and I've seen people say and somebody on IMDb said of Drunken Master that Kill Bill took like 4 references and they listed them. Well, here's the thing. A lot of these movies had similar scenes, so I'm not so sure about that. Like there's, the scenes with the water. There's also scenes where he's having to, no, wait a minute. That's Shaolin Woodmen. Okay, that's a different movie. But, they all had similar scenes of training, carrying buckets of water upstairs and dumping them and things like that. So, it's almost hard to pinpoint which movie some of these scenes were borrowed from. I'm sure if you ask Quentin Tarantino, he would tell you because he does like to talk about that kind of thing. But Russell remembers both Drunken Masters. Yeah, for sure. We may have actually seen the second one first and then got this one on VHS. But like I said, I don't remember because we got rid of those and I don't know why. Let's see. Dragon Fist, The Young Master. Do I have The Young Master? Thought I had The Young Master. Arrow has put out a lot of these earlier ones. Okay, so I do have some of them, but not all of them. And there's a whole bunch that I have that he has small parts in that I didn't get out. Now, next we have 1980. Okay, he's with Golden Harvest. Golden Harvest is trying to break into the United States. There was a couple early efforts that didn't work, but I remember seeing on TV, it was known here as the Big Brawl. On IMDb, they have it as Battle Creek Brawl. So I'm wondering if Jason or Kenny, you guys remember seeing that on TV as the Big Brawl. That is it's a fun movie. You got the incomparable Mako, who of course was in Conan the Barbarian, as his master. There's a great scene with tennis balls. I think it's set in like the 20s. It has a pretty good production values. And there's a roller skating scene. So you got Jackie doing stunts and like fighting people while he's roller skating. So it still just kind of gave you a glimpse of what he was capable of, and it didn't quite propel him into superstardom over here quite yet. Kung Fu Theater. Yeah. Jason Loves the Big Brawl. Yeah. See, I bet it. I mean, anytime that came on you had to watch it. Mako was great. And of course, Mako would later play Sammo Hung's master on the TV series Martial Law. But what a guy. Patrick says Jackie Chan and Christine DeBelle. Is that who was in the Big Brawl? I don't remember. I remember he had a girlfriend and everything. Oh, you don't remember that? Okay, Kenny doesn't remember that one. Yeah. But let's keep going because there was a couple more times they tried to push him over here before he kind of broke through. Right after that, here we go. Cannonball Run. Okay. You had Shaw Brothers come out with a movie called Cannonball starring David Carradine. I think I reviewed it on my channel. Don't remember. So their rival, Golden Harvest in Hong Kong, also trying to push into the United States. They produced Cannonball Run. You got Burt Reynolds, you got, DeLuise, Roger Moore, and I remember seeing the previews, and they're like, and Jackie Chan, and I was like, I wonder who that is, but I may have recognized the name from The Big Brawl, not sure. So he plays like a stunt driver. He has a few scenes, and apparently he wasn't like thrilled with the whole experience. They basically just told him, hey, in this scene, you're going to beat up a couple guys right here. Come up with something quick. And he did, but he didn't have a lot to work with. He was just standing on sand. He couldn't really, there was nothing to bounce off of. If you've ever seen any of his movies, if you get him in a warehouse or you give him a bench, okay, like in Drunken Master, he fights people with a bench. I'm sure you guys have seen that whole routine. It's just crazy stuff. He just didn't really have anything to work with. He just had to make up whatever he could in a few hours, and it's a very quick fight scene, but it did sort of put his name out there, I guess. Okay, so then back in Hong Kong, Dragon Lord, Fantasy Mission Force. I'm not really familiar with those. Fearless Hyena 2. Okay, now Winners and Sinners. That was filmed in Spain with a bunch of, with also a Sammo, and I believe Ewan Biao, and I believe Jenny the Bet Arquitez is in that as well. That was like a comedy kung fu film, kind of. Project A, stunt filled. This is where he really started to get into some of the stunts. He actually replicates, I think it's I don't know, I don't remember if it's a Buster Keaton or a Harold Lloyd stunt. I think it's a Buster Keaton stunt. Where he's standing there in the building, the whole frame of the building falls, and he's just standing right where the doorway needs to be. Apparently the cast was like terrified that he was going to get hurt or killed. But he didn't, obviously. So that's where he really started to pick up with the stunt work for Project A. Then he's in something called Pom Pom. I have no idea what that is. Cannonball Run 2. He played a Mitsubishi engineer. I have no recollection of him being in Cannonball Run 2. I barely remember Cannonball Run 2. And then Wheels on Meals. Okay, wait a minute. Wheels on Meals, I think, is the one set in Spain. So I kind of confused that with Winners and Sinners. But Winners and Sinners is I think that's different. Okay, Wheels and Meals is the one in Spain with Jenny the Bet Arquitez. I'm pretty sure as the villain. And let's see. You guys are talking about Perfect Weapon. Yeah, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to Perfect Weapon on my channel. I do have that. Dean and Sammy were in that too. And I think in Cannonball Run, Sinatra was in it, but he was not there. It was quite obvious that his scenes were filmed somewhere else. His 2 minutes of screen time. Wasn't Rumble in the Bronx the movie that broke Jackie? Yeah. Pretty much. Rumble in Vancouver. Okay. He was in there with Jason. I don't think the Bronx has mountains in the background. Could be me, but yeah, that was filmed in Vancouver. Nanette says she doesn't remember Jackie Chan and Cannonball Run, but it's been a while. Yeah, that's one you see it a couple times, or you remember it from the old days. You kind of got it, but he does have a few scenes. Okay, and then My Lucky Stars. Yeah, that's a goofy one. And then here we go, The Protector, 1985. This is with Danny Aiello. So this is another attempt to. Danny Aiello plays a Vietnam veteran. He knows Vietnam from being there, I guess, and there are two cops that have to do something there. I don't remember much of it, to be honest. It's okay. It's not fantastic. And it didn't really register that much over here, I don't think. Heart of Dragon. Heart of Dragon is a Now we're up to 1985. That's a really sad one. Him and Sammo Hung play brothers. Sammo Hung plays a mentally challenged individual, and Jackie Chan plays his brother, and it's about the trials and tribulations of trying to help him, and he gets taken advantage of by his tutors and everything, and it's a pretty sad one. Then we got Police Story, 1985. This is a big one. Here we go. Okay. I've got the Arrow. No, it's not Arrow. This one's Criterion. Yeah, Criterion. I don't have a lot of Criterions, but, if they've put out something I'm interested, I'll grab it. This is Police Story 1 and 2. Straightforward, solid cop action movies. And with a little bit of comic relief here and there, but it never got goofy. And it's the kind of thing, as the years went on and he started to make some other goofy ones, I always thought about these two movies and how I wish he would go back and make a few more movies like this. I was out of college, okay, and they were showing this some years later after it came out. I was still in high school when it came out. I'm not that old. But years later, they were showing it at a film festival in Drexel University. And I drove my first car over there, which was held together with duct tape, I think. Parked in a neighborhood that may not have been great, and took my chances and went to see Police Story because I was just dying to see Jackie Chan movies. I knew who he was, but they just weren't available. So that was a good one. The sequel's very good. Some crazy stunts. One of them has a stunt. I think it's Police Story. A guy falls from a second story, kind of like a balcony, and he lands on folding chairs. And I don't know how you don't get hurt doing something like that. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, Sammo Hung is a very good actor, Patrick. Yes, he's very solid. And I really think Jackie himself is underrated. That the Sammo film that I reviewed, Twilight of the Warriors, Walled In, it's really an ensemble piece, but he's got a sizable role. Yeah, he really does a good job in that, Sammo Hung. Let's see. So then you got Project Armor of God. Okay, Armor of God, 1986. This is like an Indiana Jones type film. Lots of stunts. In fact, this is the movie where Jackie falls. He jumps. He's supposed to grab a pole or a rope, and he misses, and he fell. He had a pretty bad fall, and he actually got a hole in his skull the size of a quarter from that stunt. So one of his worst injuries ever, but I remember it being pretty entertaining. Dragons Forever, I think that's sort of with the old crew again. Maybe Sammo and Ewan Biao, I'm not really sure. Police Story 2, Miracles, Armor of God 2, Operation Condor, more of the same. Island of Fire, I don't remember. Twin Dragons, don't remember that one. Super Cop, yeah, now we're getting into a collaboration with Michelle Yeoh. Very entertaining film, a little bit lighter than the Police Story movies, at least the way I'm remembering it. Then you got City Hunter, don't remember that one too much. Crime Story Super Cop 2, that now we're up to 1993, and then 94 Drunken Master 2, which was a huge hit. Is directed it was directed by Lau Kar-leung for a while, who was a famous fight choreographer and actor for Shaw Brothers, but then he got into an argument with Jackie and he left, and Jackie finished directing the movie. It's really a shame that for whatever reason, those two guys couldn't see eye to eye. And because Lau Kar-leung, his career was pretty unbelievable. Yeah, but the Drunken Master 2 is insane. I mean, there are some fight scenes in that actually took a couple months to film. You got guys walking on hot coals, fight, with railway cars spilling things on them. And, of course, they have the music back from Drunken Master when he gets drunk. I never forget watching this with my son when he was young. As soon as we finished, he took a piece of paper and he rolled it up. And he was playing by himself, and he pretended to drink it, and then he was imitating Jackie's drunken movements. It was pretty funny. Oh, Twin Dragons, Jackie Chan plays two parts. Thanks, Russell. Yeah, I guess everybody did that, right? Van Damme did it. Everybody played twins at one point. Oh, and then it has Twin Dragons. Okay. Cheetah reviewed The Bodyguard with Samo, another sad one. Okay, yeah. I think I missed that one. There's several films called The Bodyguard. I know there's a Jet Li one. I believe there's a Tony Jaa one, but so yeah. Then you got Invincible Fighter, and then '95 Rumble in the Bronx, which they really packaged up. They had a commercial. Jackie Chan is the man. They were showing his stunts. They really did a pretty good job of selling that. A friend of mine saw it first, and he was like laughing. He was like, we're speaking Cantonese in the beginning, and then they go into like a tunnel, and you hear the dialogue, and the guy says, "Hey, now that we're in America, why don't we practice our English?" And then they're speaking English. It was a pretty clever way to switch over to like English/dubbing. I mean, it's kind of goofy, the gangs in New York they're like caricatures of gangs, but that was the time period. It's got that crazy scene at the end with the hovercraft. It's a fun one. Then you got Thunderbolt, Jackie Chan. Oh, that's a video game. Never mind. Then you got First Strike. I remember there's a helicopter in that one. There's skiing. And I thought I owned it, but maybe I don't because I can't find it. Another massive stunt-filled kind of spectacle. That's a good one. Then you got some TV. Then you got Mr. Nice Guy, 97. That's one of the sort of the goofy ones. Oh, no, that's directed by Samo. Oh, that's Samo and the late Richard Norton are in that one. Okay. Yeah, okay, I sort of remember that one. I mean, a lot of these do kind of go together. Let's see. Mr. Nice Guy. Then you got an Alan Smithy film, Burn, Hollywood Burn. I kind of remember something about a movie that had Alan Smithy in the title, but I don't really remember that too much. Then you got Who Am I? Don't remember much about it. I think this is a pretty stunt-heavy one. I think this is where he runs down the side of a skyscraper. It's like at a 45, not even a 45. It's steeper than that, but he like runs/slides down it. And I think this is one of the few other times where he fired somebody in the special features. They brought in a Dutch kickboxer, and he had not really worked with Jackie before, and they were doing a fight scene, and Jackie got very frustrated with him and was like, "You're supposed to be here, standing here," and he said like. It's kind of sad because he even said, "I don't know how to explain this to you." So then they just swapped in a member of his stunt team, even though that guy had like different color hair than the other guy, which they did a lot back then. But yeah, kind of a shame that happened. But they were under tremendous pressure to finish these movies. Gareth is here. Okay, it was the first one you saw in the cinema. Awesome. Yeah. I guess that Police Story was the first one I saw, but of course that was at a film festival, so I kind of got lucked out there. But I definitely did see Rumble in the Bronx in the cinema for sure. Russell says Rumble in the Bronx and First Strike are the first two Jackie Chan movies he saw, and then it was Drunken Master and Drunken Master 2. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. And then you got Rush Hour. Okay, I remember seeing Rush Hour and Rush Hour 2. Probably, I think on video, and I liked them, pretty much. Gorgeous looked kind of goofy to me. I don't remember seeing that. He had a cameo in a movie called Gen X Cops. I remember we did watch that, and I think we liked it. And then at the very end, he's an old man on a rowboat. He was a producer on that one. And then Shanghai Noon, and then eventually you would have Shanghai Nights. I did like Shanghai Noon to a degree. I guess not enough to really seek out and watch Shanghai Nights, but I'd be kind of interested to watch it now. The Accidental Spy, that's right before Rush Hour. And then after Rush Hour, you got the Tuxedo. And I have to be honest with you, this is around the time where, like I said, I was kind of wishing he would go back to sort of some harder hitting films like Police Story. And I even remember an interview where he said something along the lines of, I've told some of my people, you just write the story and just tell me what to do. And I kind of wish he had more of a hands-on approach as far as the story, because some of them were kind of, like comedy ones. at this point started to get a little similar, I think. The tuxedo, the medallion, you know what I mean? Somewhere in there is the twins effect. I kind of remember that one. Then the medallion. Around the World in 80 Days. I don't think I saw that. I remember it. The twins effect too. New Police Story. So now he's a senior inspector. I think I may have seen that one. Rob B. Hood. Didn't see that. He may have had small roles in some of these. Then eventually you get to Rush Hour 3. I never saw Rush Hour 3. I just kind of like lost interest. You know, I could take Chris Tucker in doses, small doses. Then The Forbidden Kingdom, yeah, with Jet Li. We saw that in the theater. I've already mentioned that. You know, I liked it, but I kind of wish it was more of a return to form set in the olden times or something like that. But Patrick says that's the best one. Okay. Interesting. As far as pure entertainment, I'll have to weigh that up against, well, no, I guess, yeah, American one, right? Rumble in the Bronx was marketed here, but it was made. Okay, so that doesn't count. Yeah, could be for sure, Patrick. Could be. I did love the outtakes on Rush at the end of Rush Hour 2, though. That was with Don Cheadle, and it's pretty funny. The Shinjuku incident, I think he had a cameo in that. I remember that. Then you got like The Spy Next Door. Little Big Soldier, I may have seen that. I don't remember. And then from here on, I really haven't seen many of these guys in his modern era. But I have one, which we'll get to in a moment. Sorry about that. Karate Kid. I never saw the Karate Kid. I don't know. I just not sure if it's worth it. You guys let me know. That's the one, Patrick. I'm getting to it in a minute. Shaolin. I kind of don't remember Shaolin. Again, he may have had a small role in that. Kung Fu Panda, the movies. 1911. Yeah. Now, I kind of did want to see that one, but I don't think I ever did. Chinese Zodiac. Didn't see that. Police Story Lockdown. Now, that might be, not sure if he's the same character. That might be worth seeing to see what they did with that. Dragon Blade. Monkey King. English version voice. That might be an animated one. Skip Trace, The Master, Railroad Tigers. Haven't seen that. Kung Fu Yoga. That missed that one completely. Somebody that was in that wished him a happy birthday on social media today, but I completely missed that one. Then some Lego Ninjago movies, a lot of animated voice work here. Then 2017, The Foreigner, okay, with Pierce Brosnan. Haven't watched it yet, but I've really been meaning to. I think I saw about 20 minutes one day when my dad was still with us. We were over there. I was helping him out, but I couldn't sit down and focus on it. But yeah, I've heard that this is very good, just a solid film all around, and kind of that more serious tone that I was hoping that he would return to. Never push a good man too far. So I am looking forward to watching this. And for a lot of these, Project A and First Strike, I may not review, depending on how much martial arts is in them, I may not actually review them on like a Martial Arts Monday, but I'll get to a lot of them. Okay, now here's the one. How did I miss this? I didn't even know that this movie existed. Iron Mask in 2019 with Jackie Chan and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, what? How did this slip by me? Kung Fu Yoga has an amazing final scene credits. Okay, cool. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, Nanette, if you grew up with the original Karate Kid, it's kind of hard, but haven't seen The Foreigner or even heard of the movie. Yeah, that I do remember seeing ads for it, and I think they did kind of market it as kind of a more serious movie, but then again, some of your like Rush Hour fans may not have been interested in that. Oh, you have Iron Man and Cheetah, Patrick. Well, maybe Cheetah has it too. I don't know. Patrick has Iron Mask, hasn't watched it yet. Then you got a few more. Well, I guess those are all animated. Hidden Strike, that may have been live action. Good Night, Beijing. Some of these may have been more for the Hong Kong Asian market, and in some of these he may have had like more of a small role. I'm not really sure. Let me put this back here. And then I guess he came out with Panda Plan, a Legend last year, and then Panda Plan. But my gosh, 71, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 projects in post-production or development. New Police Story 2. So I guess I got to see New Police Story since I'm a fan of the Police Story movies. Rush Hour 4. Rumored. Oh, it says rumored. Okay. 5 Against the Bullet. Don't know what that is. Once Upon a Zodiac. It says voice, so that could be animated. Mo Shen Ji Ting. Don't know anything about that. Bu Feng Zhu Ying. Again, don't know anything about that. Panda Plan 2. Not really interested. Animated. And then Karate Kid Legends. Okay. Which I guess is coming out this year. So I may have seen some still photographs from that. But I don't know. Maybe I'll break down and see the Karate Kid. Maybe. Hidden Strike is Jackie Chan and John Cena. Oh, okay. Bronson was so good as the bad guys. Yeah, at this point in their careers, a lot of these guys are so good, and that includes Jackie. Even the movie that I was telling you about, when the goofy movie that I reviewed today, The Executioner, when he's down on his luck and he's got nothing left, his facial expressions are really solid. A lot of pathos there. I'd be interested in Panda Plan. I don't know if does that have anything to do with Kung Fu Panda. My grandkids haven't gotten into those yet, but it's when they do get into animated movies, it'll be for like months on end. They're still on Disney's Robin Hood. Used to be on WB Kids. Okay. Jackie Chan's Adventures used to be on WB Kids. Yeah, I even remember I think it was a Burger King toy. We had a couple of them, the Happy Meals. And one of them was Jackie was going like this, and there was like a pole, and you could swing them around. And I think one of them, there was a motorcycle one, and darn it, I wish I still had those. I don't think I have any of them left. Oh, you Nanette has seen Panda Plan advertised, and it looks cute. Yeah, I mean, it could be. I don't know. I don't really get into animated movies unless somebody pulls me in or my granddaughters get interested. I know Kung Fu Panda had some fantastic voices involved in it, Foreigner is his best acting role, says Kenny. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, well, I've definitely got some old Jackie Chan movies to rewatch. And I'll be doing these on the channel too, since I just talked them up so much. And The Foreigner, and a couple of the other older ones on Tubi. I have a lot of them conflated in my head. The ones I used to have on VHS tape: Fearless Hyena, Snake and Serpent Shadow, and Fearless Hyena 2. I'll get to those on the channel, and then I'll probably go back and do some of the more well-known, famous ones. But I have the Mill Creek set for Jackie Chan Adventures. Oh, okay. I didn't know there was a Mill Creek set. Oh, Jackie. Okay, so for Rush Hour 4, Jackie's trying to get Chris Tucker to come back. I was on a talk show. Okay, so I guess that's why it's still rumored. Yeah, that would be interesting to pick up, though, Jason. I don't know if my granddaughters would be, eventually, when they get a little older, would be into that. I could see us watching something like that together. My wife and I did watch Drunken Master yesterday together. That was we actually had fun. Our movie tastes don't really align, but when it comes to Jackie Chan or Jet Li, they do. So that worked out well. But just so everybody knows, tonight on the channel, Patrick, Kenny, and I are going to be talking about The Fugitive. We're going to be focusing on episode 1, which also starred Brian Keith. But the first episode of The Fugitive, a little bit about the legacy of The Fugitive, maybe a little general TV talk. That's going to be on my channel tonight at 7 p.m. I'm calling it TV talk. Okay, so we'll see where it goes after that. But if you guys can come back, that would be great. Rush Hour 2 is Russell's favorite. I remember thinking that one was at least as good as the first one, maybe better. Maybe you're right, but it has been a while since I've seen either one of those. Okay, well, listen, I appreciate you guys, everyone stopping by today. I did something a little different for Martial Arts Monday, little tribute to the Chan Man, coupled together with a review of one of his older films. And I may do things like this occasionally on the channel, but next Monday, I'll probably go back to debuting a video at midnight on Monday morning. No, I had something in mind. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm glad Jason's still here. I'm not going to tell you who, but I have a very unusual one for my top 3 Thursday comic book adaptations. I thought about reviewing it for this Monday, but I said, wait, it's going to be in my top 3 Thursday video for comic book adaptations. So then I'll review it for next Monday. So I do have a movie picked out for next Monday. And to the extent that people are aware of this movie, you might not even be aware that it was a comic book adaptation. So I'm looking forward to sharing that one. Is racing coming back? Yeah, Patrick, I've actually got some plans. And I did, like I said, I wanted to watch a couple Yeti movies and a couple Bigfoot movies and then have some reviews and races. So I watched, and we're going to talk about one of the actors tonight, because he's an actor from The Fugitive, not a major one. Was in an old Bigfoot movie that I just rewatched on Tubi the other night, and it was pretty darn good. I remember liking it when I was a kid. I was really surprised at how good this movie was. And I did finally track down and watch, I'll just tell you what it is, the Abominable Snowman, the Hammer film. I've never seen it. I don't own it. I think I saw a clip of it one time or something, but I did find it on Internet Archive and watch it. So I've seen a Bigfoot movie. I've seen a Yeti movie. So we'll do the reviews / races pretty soon. And there's even a movie on Tubi called Bigfoot versus Yeti. And 2 or 3 times I've clicked on it only to realize it's actually a documentary. So I might watch it anyway, but it's not what I thought it was going to be. Yeah, there's a lot of movies like that in that either you had no idea they were comic books or graphic novels or whatever. Like even I can't believe I can't remember it. Tom Hanks and Jude Law. That was like a graphic novel. Paradise, Purgatory, Road to Purgatory, whatever that movie is. You know what I'm trying to say. Russell says, if it wasn't for Jason, Jason's got it. Good go. If Russell says it wasn't for Bruce Lee, we wouldn't have these other kung fu guys like Jackie Chan or Jet Li and Chuck Norris, Cynthia Rothrock, and Steve Seagal. Yeah, Bruce was the man. I mean, I think we would have had something, only because Shaw Brothers and Golden Harvest were producing movies, and people like Lolay, Road to Perdition. Thank you, Patrick. They were producing movies and pumping them out, but I don't think it would have been the phenomenon that it became. But yeah, so I'll talk about that one on Thursday. Jason, you got me. All right, guys. Come back tonight at 7 o'clock for some TV talk with The Fugitive. And my next video after that will probably be Thursday, early AM, my top 3 comic book adaptation videos. And come back again for more live streams in the future. Thanks a lot for coming, everyone. Really appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys later.